Hello, hello, everybody. It's Mark D'Antonio with SkyTour Livestream once again. It's so good to see you guys here, and as always, I wanted to welcome Daryl Mason to the stream. Hey, Daryl, how are you?
Hello, Mark. I'm good. You? Hello, everybody.
I'm doing fine, thank you. I'm just hanging in here. We have the star Sirius in the view right now, and so you know where Sirius is. We'll bring up our planetarium view here. You can see Sirius, the dog star, is called that because, of course, Sirius is one of Orion's hunting dogs. It's one of the remaining constellations that's still available to view with any kind of ease right now. And as you can see, it's heading down.
Southwest, yep.
It is, yep. So that's where we are. And we're going to hang out there.
The star to the lower right of Sirius.
There's many stars to the lower right of Sirius.
Well,
you're talking about
Mersum.
Oh, right here, Mersam.
Yeah, Mersum.
Yeah.
It means herald or announcer because it rises right before Sirius does, so they call it the herald.
Interesting. That's cool, and that's true when it's on the other horizon. When it's rising, that's what you see.
Yep.
Very cool. So we have Sirius in here right now because we're using it as sort of a little guide to the darkness, and as the night sky gets a little darker out there. We may be going to a later start time. Daryl and I were talking about this a little earlier. We may have to go from 10:30 to 11 p.m. start times, and that's a possibility. Let me get rid of our reticles here. Okay. All right. So there's Sirius with a number of stars around it. And what I'd like to do is to do some critical focus. I'm not sure if that'll work yet. It may not be dark enough, but we're going to try it. So we're going to go into Tools, Focus. Hey there, Richard Spencer. How are you? Great Lakes near Toronto, where it's perpetually cloudy. I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, you know what? We have an area in Arizona where it's almost perpetually clear. So that's pretty cool. And we'll spend a lot of time sharing all that with you. And if you're interested in hanging out with us, subscribe and enjoy. And we're going to go through a little bit about what we see on screen here shortly. All right, let me... Our Starlink equipment is on site, so we're going to have Starlink here sooner than later. It's already running for the computer systems there, and it's going to be running for our observatory here fairly soon. Okay, so what we've done now is we're actually trying to get some focus stars here, and we're going to actually start a focusing run. All right, and you can see the stars that are selected, and I'm going to see if we... Alright, so we're going to scan now. We're going to scan in, and we're going to watch over here. You're going to watch a curve develop in this graph area over here. Right here, you'll see a curve develop. Yeah. And that curve is going to be like a little parabola, like a shape like this. Remember, your geometry class is a parabola. And what it's doing is it's changing the focus, and it's going to find... a focusing position automatically for us, and it'll be at the bottom of that curve. So it'll be out of focus, in focus, out of focus, and it's going to do that whole range, and then we're going to tell it to go to that bottom where it's going to be perfectly focused. So we just have to watch the curve develop here. You'll see it shortly. It'll be pretty obvious. This is the current position of the focuser right now. You can see there's a gentle slope right now, and then it's going to go up, and boom, right there, it finds a position at the bottom of this gentle curve. And it's done. So now what we do is we tell it to go to that position that looks best to it. And so now the telescope focuses all the way to the opposite end and comes back in, and boom. So now we are at a position that is considered best focus. So get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. And just as a test, we're going to go, and it's not quite dark out there, as you can see up above. You can see that, this is the view inside the telescope. And for those that haven't been here before, okay, here's the telescope inside the building right here, okay, right there. The building roof is off. This is the telescope control system up here. This is our main view. Ta-da! It's so beautiful. And then over here on the right, we have the camera parameters and all the camera view. The one that we care about the most is the exposure time right here and the gain. The gain is the sensitivity, kind of like the ISO on a camera, the sensitivity. You have like 200, 400, 800, 1600, etc. Well, we go up into the tens of thousands of sensitivity with our camera. And this telescope camera on the telescope is actually running at a focal ratio of f2. Now, if those of you who know cameras, you know that f2 is a fast system. f22 is not. All right, and so we went from f8 to f2. f8 was the natural state of this telescope, and we converted it to be an f2 wide field. By wide field, we mean 4 full moons across, 3 full moons tall. So we can see big, expansive nebulae, and they look gorgeous. It's not good for things that are really tiny, but then again, it does support zooming in quite a lot with good support. So let's try something. Let's go to say do a we'll try a 2-second photo and see if we can actually even capture an object here and stack it. Let's see if we can capture Sirius. All right, so we're gonna do a live stack now. All right, there we go. 2 seconds. The point being, we're trying to make sure the focus is good because we did an autofocus routine. All right, so right now, there we go. These diagonal lines, that's an artifact in the system that I'm removing when I go out there. And that's kind of important. So this setup is such that it's going to give us a much better, much cleaner view. And once I get these set up properly, these lines are going away. These are something on the filter out there. They actually appeared out of nowhere. So they might be spider webs. I just have to figure that out. But I don't know where they came from. The telescope's been in a lot of use. But as you can see, the focus looks pretty good.
For spider webs.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I'm wondering if they're actually just artifacts. Hopefully they're not on the sensor or the camera, but if they were, I don't think they'd be focused. But if you notice, they're gone, and that's something that happens automatically. They will tend to go away at times, depending on the how things are going here. Now we've stacked we've already stacked 30 images here. So that's quite a few. The other thing to notice is that the temperature. I don't know if you can read this down there, but the temperature of our sensor is minus 10.5 degrees Celsius. So we're running fairly 10 degrees below 0 Celsius. All right, and 0 is freezing. So we're actually running a very, very cold sensor out there, and that helps us with sensitivity and makes things look really good and keeps the noise away. But that's what's happening here, and I can increase the gain, I can increase the time, and we play with things to actually get this to look pretty darn good. We also have enhancements we can do on this tab over here, and I can actually add this thing called the bilateral filter, and what that does is that kind of gets rid of a lot of this noise. All right, so as you can see, the noise goes away and it looks better. This is great for star clusters and things like that, but tonight I don't think we need to focus only on star clusters. I think we're going to be able to look at some nebulae, at least for a while, because the moon is going to come up. And before the moon rises, we actually get some brightness, on the horizon prior to the moon rising. I do want to say hello to everybody, of course, the people that have been here. First person in was CND Boy, how's it going? And Petita PG, how are you? PG, I think I'm going to see you in Pine Bush, won't I? And then Kathleen Solway Kessel, hi there. I'm glad you're here with us. David Schmidt, of course, has been having some fun before we went live, and Daisy and Zoe Amethyst are here with Lane, I might add. I think. You guys tell me if she's with you. And then we have Donald Kunzer I saw in here. I saw Rockstars with us. We have Genghis with us. We have... boy, David, you're going crazy for a while there. We also have, of course, Daryl here, who we just mentioned we've been talking to. And who else did I see? I saw somebody else. Oh, Izabela. Hello. Sorry, Izabela. Izabela is something else. She will take our streams and she will turn around and she will categorize them and give you a table of contents. This is all something she does for our streams, I'm telling you. You know, like I said, you know, the I in SkyTour Livestream ended a long time ago. Now it's a we. It's a group effort now, you know. Hey there, Mike Bok. How are you? Yeah, happy 420 from Montana. All right. Awesome. Have some pizza. Dean Bust the Doors with us. How you doing? And I think that, and Renee Cruz is here. Hello, Renee. And I'm just looking to see who else joined us early here. I always like to say hello to the people that take the time to come out to see us, because that's really the right thing to do, don't you think? You know, acknowledge the people that are here. And I think for now, that's it. Ufi Ortori. Hi, Ufi. How are you? Good to see you. And Richard Spencer I said hi to earlier, but I'm glad he's here too. Thanks for coming, Richard. And Uberku is with us. All right, Uberku. And D. Smith, what's up? Haven't heard from you in a while. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, that's who's with us for now that are chatting. If you want to be shouted out, all you have to do is say something in the chat, and we'll know you're there. So okay, so we're just checking out the Sirius region right now, and this is the 2-second exposure. And you know, we can actually make some adjustments here to the image, and we can make color adjustments as well to make it a little bit better. But you know, it's not bad. We're doing okay, and the target temperature is -10. We're at -10.5. We're doing good. All right. So let's now do this. Let's go back to the other part of our show tonight, which is this planetarium view that you see here. This is connected to the telescope, allows us to check things out. And let's go up right now, and we're going to go right up to this nebula right here. And we're going to give it a shot. It's not really quite dark enough out there, but let's find out. So we're going to tell the telescope to go there, and you're going to watch the telescope move. Now, before I do that, I just want to make sure that I bring ourselves down to a 1-second exposure and give us a maximized, what I call a enhanced view. This is sort of like a viewfinder, and we're going to get rid of our stack because we don't need to stack right now. All right, so when that goes away, there we go. Now we got that. All right, so now let's pop that up, give it an enhanced view. Now you can see all those stars around the star Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. And we're now going to go over to our planetarium and tell ourselves to go to the Seagull Nebula. I'd like to get a view of these before they go away. David Smith says, Mark, because those lines are so straight and parallel, could they have been something related to the roof opening? No, David, they're actually an artifact in the system, something in the optical train, probably on the filter itself. So I will have to go out there and actually physically clean that filter, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so here we are. We're here, and we're going to now tell the telescope to move. You watch over my head, you'll see the telescope will move. Okay, and you'll see here, okay, you see on the main screen, you actually watch, it brings up a waypoint star. Now, what's a waypoint star? It's the star that it goes to before it star hops itself to the object we want. And in this case, that waypoint star happens to be Sirius, the one that we've been taking a picture of in a little while here. Oh, why'd you say sorry to Lane? What'd you miss?
Oh, well, they just mentioned Lane, and I never, or maybe it was you, said Lane was a girl, and I asked, and they said, yes, Lane is a girl, and
Oh, okay.
I was embarrassed because I always thought Lane was a boy's name.
Oh.
My number 3 brother's middle name is Lane.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
Can
you
I
can
say
see.
something, Izabela?
Yeah.
She was asking about the Giraffe constellation.
Camelopardalis.
Yeah, Camelopardalis. That was a question in Trivial Pursuit many years ago, and that helped me win the game against playing everybody else in the family. Question was, what is a camelopard? And it was on the tip of my tongue, and I couldn't remember, and my one brother-in-law was wanting to count me out, and I finally remembered, well, it's an animal, and it's a constellation, and I thought, what do you get if you cross a camel and a leopard? And imagine a camel with leopard spots. And, well, giraffe.
Mm-hmm.
And Camelopardalis, or camelopard.
Yeah. Cool.
So there.
Yep. Trivial Pursuit is fun. Okay, I can
back
see.
in the day.
I can see a little bit of nebulous detail here, but again, it's not quite dark yet. But let's give it a shot. Let's see what it takes. We'll do a 20-second shot. It's gonna be pretty bright, but we'll give it a shot. All right. So we'll get rid of this. And it's our hybrid view, and now we're gonna go into our stack. All right. I'm gonna clear this. That's the previous stack. We didn't want to keep any of that. And then I'm going to make this so that it can go away and come back on its own. Okay, pretty bright as we stated. Okay, so let's see. Let's see here. What did I just do? Let's see what we get here. There's still a 1 second delay with everything I do because of this slow nature of the system with the internet. Yeah, we can see some nebulous detail, but not a lot yet. We still have to wait. Boy, these are pretty bad. But I think it's because the sky has some sky brightness and they actually end up highlighting them. When the sky gets dark enough, we won't see those. There's the main part of the nebula, and you can see the wings here of this thing. But like I said, we will... when it gets dark, you're going to notice that it looks a lot nicer. Let's color
you were talking
correct
about
this.
cleaning out there.
Yeah.
You ought to take a feather duster and a whole bunch of microfiber towels and lens tissue and cleaning solution. I bet you're going to have your work cut out for you when you see that telescope.
Oh, I've seen it pretty bad already, and I just have I have high pressure air, and I use that first to get rid of the biggest grit. But sometimes the stuff sticks, and I don't like that. But I don't have much of a choice. Let's actually increase this. Go to 350 on the gain. And then we're going to go to 25 seconds on this exposure. And then we're going to the stack. And we're going to clear it. And start again. There we go. So this... down there on the right side over here, you see the progress bar. And this progress bar gets to the end. And what's interesting is the end is actually behind this. So it's behind the logo. But you'll end up seeing the image appear when that progress bar goes away. And at first, because the sky is still too bright, we end up seeing it like this. And we have to do an adjustment to get things correct here.
That's a new one.
It is.
Never seen yellow before.
Yeah, we haven't. I don't think we got enough data. It could be the way I cleared it. I'm at 350 gain too, so that's probably part of the problem. It's not dark enough for this high gain. It's a very sensitive camera. You know, we see dark nebulae that you don't expect to see for many minutes, and we see them in like 10 seconds. So it's a really good system. All right, so let's, and just to show you, like, all you have to do is do just a little bit of an adjustment, and you'll see that you get to pick out some really cool detail fairly quickly. I'm not sure what that's doing right there. It's actually pretty bright right now, still out there.
Cleaning optics is one of those things I've been doing for over 40 years now.
Yeah.
And I still have my heart in my mouth every time I have to touch an optic to clean it.
Oh, yeah.
Some people, it's no big deal. I remember the president of the astronomy club here admitted once, well, when he cleaned the front glass on his Schmidt Cassegrain, he did, you know, some people, they're very painstaking with it. No, I just spray it with Windex and wipe it off with a paper towel.
Yeah. You can see this area here in the west. We have quite a lot of sunset light here. So that's why we're not seeing it like it should be yet. So we'll give it a little longer. Yep. So you know what we'll do, actually.
Close to setting.
Huh? Yeah.
You can see the Pleiades a minute ago in Stellarium. It's not far from setting now.
Tell you what, you know, while we're in this region, let's go up to look at the actual Beehive cluster, and we'll come back to this. Alright, so let's head up there. Let's get rid of the stack. You'll watch the telescope move now, up overhead. There it goes. And let's get rid of this. And bring this down to 1 second. And go to our hybrid view. Now, one thing to understand is that in the database of objects here, I happen to know that this cluster we're heading to is wrongly defined in the database, which we have nothing to do with. So I always have to go hunting for it. So right now it's centering up this star. All right. So this star that it's getting right now is this little guy right here. And now it's heading to what it thinks is the Beehive, but it's going to be off a little bit. Okay. And so I have to correct it. All right. So right now you don't see the cluster. However, you will when I actually start heading in another direction here. So, for instance, if I head us now a little bit to the west, all right, we come over a little and you'll see some really bright stars starting to come in from the right side. And those are the stars that are wrongly defined in the database. See, they're now just coming in. So here they come. This is a star cluster called Praesepe, Praesepe, Praesepe. It's in the constellation of Cancer, and it's called the Beehive. And it really is kind of a hub of activity. You know, as we bring it in here, you'll see it.
Also
as you can see, I've done this.
Messier 44.
That's correct. M44 is Praesepe, the Beehive. Messier 44, captured by Charles Messier. I don't remember when he did it, but I thought that that was just a beautiful object. All right, so...
You know, a guy named Pierre Méchain, another French astronomer, actually found a lot of the Messier objects first. And he forwarded them to Messier, and Messier renumbered them and added them to his catalog.
Yeah.
There were a couple of other people who contributed also.
Okay. So this is Praesepe in a 12-second exposure, but not processed. Watch how many more stars show up when I do this. Okay, look at that. Beautiful stars. And let me color correct here, get rid of some of that blue, give it more like the proper color. There we go. Okay. Hey there, Laura Newbert. How are you? Laura, and look forward to seeing you in July in Denver. And we are looking forward to moving forward with everything we're doing with SkyTour Livestream. So here is Praesepe, and we're stacking right now. We have 4 images stacked. When we say stacked, for those that don't know, most of you do now, know now. We take an image, and we take a second image, and we align it with the first, get it perfectly aligned, and we stack it on top. And we make this image sandwich. And the more you do that, the more that the data, the stars, the dark nebula, the wisps of gas and dust, become obvious and stick out. They sit up high above the noise. The noise is this stuff in between the stars that looks like it's modeling. All right, that stuff is noise, and we want to get rid of that. Okay, and so every time you stack, some of that noise goes away. A little more, a little more, a little more. So yeah, so this is looking good. And one of the things we can do with Praesepe is we can adjust our levels a little bit to kind of give it a little bit more of a contrast against the background. Look at that jewel. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a jewel box. You know? Yeah, we could do a color correction and again to get rid of some of the red hue that's not supposed to be there. There we go. Now that's a really pretty image. Check this out. Boom. There it is. Praesepe's beautiful. We can also, bring this full screen, okay, and show you a little better so you can actually see it nicer. And I can stay here, I can go over here and say, hey, look at that over there, And for the record, just so you know, I have 2 monitors. I have a monitor here, which is the observatory feed, and then this monitor here is the broadcast feed. So you'll see me looking left and right. But I'm really looking at the same thing you're seeing. Hello, Cindy Murphy. Nice to see you.
Be a lot of red stars in that cluster.
Yeah, actually, I was going to point that out too, because that's a good point, Daryl. Let's go in here and let's bring this black level over here on the right. This vertical dashed yellow line, that's the dark level. That's the black level. The more leftwards we take it beyond this peak, this is the data right here from the sensor. See that stuff going around here? That stuff is the red, green, and blue data from the sensor. So as we check that data out, we can actually move the levels and bring in more of that black data. Okay, move to the left and you'll see that it gets brighter. We can move far to the left and you'll see that it gets way bright, right? Like that. And now we're to the left of all the curves. So the darkness of space isn't black now. It's got a basic color tone to it. And so that's really pretty. I mean, but it's just slightly too red. But that's just due to the nature of the red sunset. Is adding colors that we don't want to our images. So what we do during these times is we actually color correct and get rid of them. So when I hit this color correction, you'll see the red go away there like that. So now we've color corrected it for the sunset. Because we're actually taking pictures now. I know it looks black over my head in the building because this is the sky here through the open top of this observatory. But in this particular case, the sky is only black because, in relative contrast, the camera that's taking this imagery is a night vision camera, so it's going to make this look black even though it's not. You'd be able to see the sky if you were in here looking in the same direction. So this is nice. This is pretty.
It is.
Yeah. Let's zoom in, shall we? We'll just check our focus system to make sure it's doing its thing. So right now we've actually fit the entire frame of the sensor into this square you see here. Okay, this square is the entire frame of the sensor. All right. However, that's really not what we could be seeing, and this is 100%. So now it goes well beyond the extent of your screen that you're looking at this on. And so at 100%, we're seeing even more detail. And when Daryl was talking about the stars that are red in here, let me do one more color correction. Okay, if you look, all right, look at all the red stars. See all those stars? That's a red one there. There's a red one over here. There's one over here. There's a couple in here. What's that?
I said there's some big bright red ones in there too.
Yeah, like this one right here.
Right there, and to
right
its lower
there.
right, to that one's upper left. And
yeah, and you know, again, we could drag the frame around because we've got, you know, so much more frame to us here that we can see.
yeah.
Now, Praesepe is beautiful. It's called an open cluster. It's a young cluster, younger cluster of stars, and it has about 50 to 100 beautiful stars in it. And its distance from us is around 577 light years, and it's actually a pretty beautiful cluster. Again, as I said, in the constellation Cancer, the crab right here. And if you want to see that, you know, all we have to do is turn on the crab, and there you see the crab. Okay, we turn on our mythology, and then if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that there's other beautiful objects in here. All right, and one of them, what I don't want to do, Daryl, is let too much of this go away before we start looking at the galaxies. You know, I think we should. You know what? The other night wasn't good with the moon out, but I think we should try to actually look at the Rosette Nebula one more time before it sets. The Rosette's gorgeous, and for people that haven't seen the Rosette, it is just astonishing.
Sure.
So let's pull out of this.
The stars of winter.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think the moon's going to be up for about 3 hours or so yet.
Yeah, so that gives us just enough time. Because as you know, they call me Mark just one more, the Antonio, right? I guess, but that's what I do. I like making sure that we can just see one more, just one more. All right, and that never works because I end up, you know. All right, so now here's the next step we do. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this, but before I do that, I'm gonna name this. This is Measure 44 M44. Okay, and it's an OC. It's an open cluster. All right, that's the terminology. And now I'm going to go into our stack here because we have stacked quite a lot. We've stacked 40 of these. We're going to pause this stack. Okay, and now we're going to save it. So what that does is it saves a raw data stack called a FITS file, F-I-T-S, to our special server. All right, and which you all have access to. And then we save this as a object you can just double click on and see, save exactly as you see it here, and then you'll see the PNG file there. Okay, so a FITS file, you can get a free viewer for these FITS file formats online if you want, or you can just look at the beautiful shots like this and enjoy them and bring them down for free. And we have a server. These are all going up on our server right now. As a matter of fact, all these images are being shipped out up into space, going to a server. I don't know where the server is. It might be in Seattle or it might be in central United States somewhere. But either way, it's a server I set up where we actually have all of our images, and you can go back into last July, and see all the images we've taken since then, all the way up to tonight. And it's free. Now, if you want to know where that is, you can go to any one of our streams, look in the description, and you'll see a link to that server. Also, usually Daryl or Izabela will actually put up a link. Izabela, I think, does it. she'll put up a link to the latest object in the chat if you want to just go check it out.
Yeah, I thought about it, but she'll beat me to it. So
I'm sure she will, because she's that good. And there it is. Look at that. Ta-da! You don't have to think much about it with her. She's something else.
Don't mean to take you for granted, Izabela.
Not at all. She's a superstar. I told her she doesn't have to do it, you know, but she's like, she thinks it's a wonderful thing. So she gets a lot out of it. We get a lot out of what she does. So we're really happy to have her on board with us. Okay, so stack is over. I'm going to go down to 1 second shots again. And then we're going to go to our hyper mode where you can actually see more detail what's going on. All right, and then we can now see we still got the red sunset light here is still hitting us. But that's okay. So now what I'll do is head over to the Rosette Nebula, as I promised, because it's just really pretty. There it is. And we're going now. Rosette will come up because its database information is perfect. Alright, so now we're slewing the telescope over, and it makes pretty abstract art as it does so. And if you look here, it says it's slewing with high precision, and it's going to bring in our waypoint star. Alright, and what waypoint star is it? You'll see that right here. It's going to tell you the name, and it's Al-Zir. Okay, so Al-Zir right here is going to be centered, and then from there it's going to jump over to the Rosette Nebula for us. So watch this, and you'll see it too. You'll see the Rosette. Can't miss it. And then when we start taking pictures, oh, you'll be stunned. It's a stunning image. Oh, you already see it. Look at that. There it is. That's the Rosette Nebula, and it's a nebula that has a really interesting cluster in the middle. That young cluster in the middle. That is really highly energetic stars, and they're pushing out with radiation energy, and that radiative energy actually clears gas and dust from the middle, so it looks like a hollow hole in the middle of this cluster. But let's not take my word for it. Let's check it out, and we'll make this a 35-second shot. All right, and then you'll see some of the other anomalies of the universe in this one shot, which is just stunning. So the 35-second shot is underway, and we're going to remove our hypered view, and we'll start up a stack. And we're not missing anything, even though this progress bar is going. I don't even have the stack done yet, because what's happening is the data is being accumulated on the sensor, and then it's going to be read out at the conclusion of the shot and be displayed. All right. So here we go. You'll be seeing it in a moment, and I will make it so that the stack goes away because we don't need it to be there the whole time. Okay, there's the Rosette. That is stunning. Wow. Now you might say, well, wait, what's that doing? Well, I'll show you. Okay, so we're going to first color correct it, and you'll see some interesting changes. We correct for the sunset. Look at that. And then we're going to do a nice, wonderful quick process on it, just like this. Bring that dark level up. Can you believe this is out there? I mean, look at this beautiful object. It is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And we have a satellite that just ran through. Wow. Okay.
I've seen it named NGC 2244, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But that's actually the star cluster, isn't it? Not the Rosette itself.
I believe you're right. It's a cluster associated with nebulosity.
Yeah.
I think is the terminology they probably use for it. For those of you just joining us, and hi, Science Bob. You know, for those that don't, for those that don't know, I am an astronomer. That's what I went to school for. Daryl's an astronomer, and together we do this stuff with SkyTour Livestream because we're just crazy. and we love the universe. Yeah, Izabela says, I think for now the Rosette is my favorite nebula of all. Even more than the Bubble? She likes the Bubble Nebula too. Hey there, Bonnie. Anahata 77 is Bonnie. No, actually, good question, Daisy and Zoe. Does a satellite ruin all the stacked images? You know why? Because the satellite is on one image. However, what's behind that satellite trail, like say right here, is the darkness of space. And as we keep stacking images, the darkness of space keeps getting stacked over that particular location where the satellite came through. So over time, you're going to watch this dim out to almost nothing. All right? It's an automatic process that actually gets rid of that issue. All right, let's bring up our stack. All right, and I want to do a color process on it right now just to get rid of some of that illegal red. There we go. That looks nice. And let's do this. This is our mid-level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bring out some of the dark data just a little bit by squishing these two toward each other to bring more data out. You'll notice some brightness increasing here. All right, there we go. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous or what? Then I'm also going to drag this black level back just before the peak to kind of soften that up a little bit and make it look a little better. Notice our satellite trail is getting dimmer. Wow, now this is something else. This you can't deny that this is really stunning. Now let's try something. Watch this. Let's actually zoom in, shall we? Let's go in here. Let's go into this dark lane area. What is that? Look at this. So we actually see that we have some interesting artifacts in here. Something strange. What's this dark object? What's that dark blob right here? What's that dark blob right there? See it over here? And over there and over here? Right? These dark blobs, this is interstellar dust. Dust particles. And these dust particles are made of silicate minerals that are actually, combined and congealed to make this dust. There's also carbon in there. And much of that dust was made in large red giants in the past that then went supernova and showered the universe with these materials. That's how this process works. So let's try this. Let's actually give it a let it do its processing the way it wants to do it. There we go. And now you can actually see a lot more detail in here. Now I'm going to do one other thing which I haven't done. I had the bilateral filter on. I'm going to turn that off now. All right, and now watch. When I turn off the bilateral filter, it's going to look a little bit sharper. Okay, see that? These things now are sharpened up more. And then I'm going to turn on Unsharp Mask, which is actually another sharpening system. Watch now as this changes drastically. Look at that. Did you see how that red now has come out? So this is something that we've actually we've done a few times in the past, and it actually gives us a nice, beautiful view of an object, and gives us some of the details in the object. Really, really pretty. And of course, the music is perfect for this object.
The little dark globules you see are called Bok Globules.
Bok Globules.
They're named after Mark's dog, Bark Bark.
That's funny. Yeah, Daryl, I'm sorry I ruined your joke. I didn't realize where you were going with that. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm sorry. Yeah. He's almost correct, and he knows what he's talking about. It's actually a Bok globule, B-O-K, and Bart J. Bok was an astronomer that I actually had as a professor, for one of my classes. And Bart actually discovered these globules, and what these are areas where stars are forming inside this dark cocoon of material that's coalescing and condensing under its own self-gravitational attraction. And this leads to star formation, this leads to planetary formation. It's just incredible how this works.
Even when you see those, they look so tiny. I mean, they're much bigger than our entire solar system, are they not?
They are. In fact, they can be several light years across, depending on how close they are, or how far away they are. If you think about the distance to this isn't the Rosette like 5,000 light years away?
I forget, something like that.
I think it might be 6. Let me go see here.
I think you're right.
Oh, sorry. It says here it's 9,000, but I think it's a little bit less than that, actually. But even so, at 9,000 light years, to see something of this size right here means we're looking at something that's several light years across. Many light years across. The Orion Nebula is like 20 light years across, roughly. So that's pretty large. Interesting to think how, when you look at the Orion Nebula, for instance, what you see on the left side of the nebula and the right side of the nebula, you think about where you were 20 plus years ago. And the light that went from the right side of the nebula to the left side of the nebula took all that time to get there. And then don't forget, the light from the nebula to here took 1,500 years to get here, because that's how far, in light years, the Orion Nebula is away from us. That's, by the way, a light year is 6 trillion miles. That's kind of a big number. I think it's like 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second, or at the speed of light, it would take it takes 4.3 years for light to get here from Alpha Centauri, and at the fastest possible speed we can move, that would take us about 10,000 years to get there. But there's some new technology being researched right now that might shorten that to just about a week and a half. And there's technology beyond that even that we don't have any access to yet, and may never, but that is theoretically possible, that could take us there in the equivalent of a 25-mile drive, basically. And that's something that has to do with something called KK gravitons and so forth. I'm actually doing a lecture about that in Denver in July. And that's going to be interesting because there's a lot of reasons why interstellar travel is not doesn't have those negative connotations anymore. There's a lot of things we understand now that show us that it's actually more likely than ever that we might see it. Probably not in our lifetimes, but we might see it. We just have to not kill ourselves off.
I'd be happy if I get to see men on Mars before I kick the bucket.
Well, how do you know you don't just start over? And maybe you'll be one of those men on Mars in another lifetime if you start over. No one really knows, No one really knows.
Oh, that's one of those things.
Yeah, it is. Oh, let me show you something, guys. And Daryl likes this area too. Here on the left side of this nebula, we see some really interesting features. All right, and we're gonna see some errant pixels in here because the sunset adds some noise in here, which you're seeing here. But look at this area right here. We're zooming in now to 160%. Look at this stalk. There's a stalk here, and you'll notice that they seem to, these stalks right here are radial. They seem to be emanating from or being shaped by some bright stars here. And those are the stars at the heart of the cluster. And those are actually, with their radiative energy, are shaping these stalks. This is a very dense area of a stalk right here. And this dense area is shielding what's behind it, possibly. And so the rest of this stuff is getting evaporated away, but this stalk remains because this big gravitational condensate up here is actually shielding it. And we see that with the Eagle Nebula, which is the Pillars of Creation. We see that with other nebulae all over the place. The Cave, we've seen, it does it there. The Elephant's Trunk, we've seen it there. The Horsehead, we've seen it there. In the Horsehead region, I should say. So a lot of really cool stuff going on that is just neat. You know? Let's try... If I put on the bilateral filter now, I wonder if that'll just get rid of some of these green blob things. Yeah. See, those don't belong there, and if I cut down the radius, it'll reduce the amount of blur. That seems to be just about right. Maybe 1. That's too much down the other way. It's just a matter of trying to get these objects to look pretty good for the current conditions. You can see the stalk better now. But we'll come back and we're going to get rid of that bilateral filter as soon as it gets dark enough. But look over my head. Look at the telescope. It's leaning way over to the west. It's way over to the west. Isn't that something? Yes, Izabela, it is kind of like magic, you know? But look at how complex this nebula is. Look at this. All right. Now I want to show you before we move on. There's the hole. In astronomical terms, we call it a cavity. And it's a cavity that has been scoured by these young hot stars in here that are pushing that material away and out and away from themselves. And that's why, for instance, when you look at star clusters, you don't actually see that many of them are embedded in gas and dust because they've had time to push it all away, and they're moving around the galaxy at their own speeds. Okay, they move together as a unit, and they're all orbiting each other, doing this weird dance all the way around the galaxy. And over time, they may have interactions with themselves or other stars where they actually get ejected, and more of the clusters can be dispersed that way. Our sun is an example. Our sun was born in a cluster. And some of you might think it was in Ursa Major or the Big Dipper. And there was a time when we thought that way, but we see now that the motions of the stars in the Big Dipper have nothing to do with our motion around the galaxy, so we don't believe anymore that that's the case. So we think that we were born in another cluster, so the hunt was on to find stars like the sun. And when I say like the sun, I mean exactly like the sun. Because when our sun was formed, it was formed in a cosmic soup made of all the same stuff that you see in the sun when we look at its chemical elements, its composition. And thus, any other star that was formed in that same cosmic soup is going to have the exact same composition. And so we call those stellar siblings. And we found one. We can't see it, though, because it's down below the equator in the southern hemisphere. And it won't look very impressive. It'll look like maybe one of these stars you see in here. It won't look very impressive. But if you think about it, that's a neat finding. And it just shows us that this is yet another mystery that we're solving. We'll find more siblings.
Though it's no longer thought that we're associated with it, the Ursa Major moving group is still a real thing, is it not?
Oh, yes, it is. And, the Ursa Major moving group, what Daryl's referring to is the cluster of stars that makes up the Big Dipper that we know, the ladle and the handle, right? Those are part of the much bigger constellation of Ursa Major, right? Well, the Big Dipper stars are part of a group of stars that are all kind of moving together through space, so maybe they were formed together in a cluster at one point or another, or at least as of now are traveling as a group together. And that's something that is absolutely true. Look at this. This is really pretty. Let's zoom in on this guy right here. This is a gorgeous little spot. Now imagine being in on a star. Let's say you're on this star, and let's say there was a planet around this star somewhere in there. you might see this line here. You might see some glow around your whole solar system. You know, you might see this you will see this hot cluster of stars relatively close to you. But it's just something to see. I always think about that. But this area, you got to remember, is really too hot for life as we know it. Because life as we know it is carbon-based life that uses oxygen for energy. And so it's really not conducive to life there because it's really too hot. There's a lot of ultraviolet energy coming from these stars. In fact, it's that energy which is causing this gas in here to glow. This is hydrogen mostly that's glowing. And the dark dust is being silhouetted by the glowing hydrogen behind it. I want to say hi to Volkish Fräulein, who is here. Hello, Volkish Fräulein. Enjoy Minnesota. Okay, we've done 30 of these. We're going to pause this right now. And we are going to save it. Oops, I screwed up. I already hit save before I changed the name. I was supposed to change the name. I was so good at this, and I messed it up. There we go. Okay, yes. And we're going to save it again. So now we're going to save the raw file. Okay, it's been saved. And now we're going to save it exactly as seen. So we come down here, save exactly as seen. And you'll briefly see the PNG file listed there. There we go. All right, so we now have this all set to go. And so we can actually get rid of this stack now. And this is on its way now up to the server. You'll see it just like this in that PNG file. And it actually supports quite a magnification. So, like I said, we go to 100%. And, you know, you're going to be able to see it like this. All right. Well, obviously, the way that we had it when we accumulated all the data. All right. So let's go back to our auto view here. Go to our 1 second exposure so we can actually see what's going on, track it, and do our hypered shot here. Rename one item. Yes. Okay, yep. Just a peek into our OneDrive server that's up there. Okay. Yeah, I know. We'll fix that. Okay. Oh, it's basically because I had not changed the name. It couldn't send it up because I messed up the name. Because I tried to change the name. I changed it, but it's still there. The thing is there. So like if I come in here now, I don't think I cleared this. So when I come into the live stack. Okay, hello. Let me get rid of this again. Alright. So I come into the live stack now. And there we go. And now what I can do, if I hit save now, this is the starting point that we would need. So now you'll see. Okay. Let me do that. Yes, I know. Let's get rid of that. Alright, fits file saved. And this one will save again. So there'll be 2 copies up there. What I do is, if there's any doubt, I just do it again, just to be safe. Alright. So now we're back to our hyper view now. And now let's go back and check out the next object we're going to look at. Where'd you like to go, Daryl? You got any ideas?
Trying to remember. What was the one we tried one time and...
Oh, the Dolphin head?
Yeah, the Dolphin head. You're in the neighborhood, I think.
Yeah, it's down below here, I believe.
I think it's just over to the left of Sirius.
Yeah, isn't it? I actually was kind of... Alright, let's just go find it, shall we? Let's find it. Oh, we're going to try the antenna galaxies again, too, by the way.
Cool.
Okay, the Dolphin Head Nebula is right here. Alright, and it's down here, right there, and we're going to actually go there. So let's check it out. Off we go. It's a little higher in the sky than where we were just looking. You can see the telescope is aiming pretty low right now. We're going to a waypoint star. Is it going to go to... what star are we looking at there? It's going to tell us. Okay. Smithsonian Astrophysical Object Catalog 172839 is the star. And that's the SAO number. And then it's going to head to this other nebula called the Dolphin Head Nebula. And that should be a little higher in the sky from this. Although I'm not sure. I'm not sure what SAO this SAO object is.
Slow satellite there on the left. Lower left.
We just lost it, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we're still getting a red glow, so we're getting some sun here. Some afterglow.
You think that light there?
Yeah. I mean, we're looking way in the west.
Yeah, I was almost
so
wondering
we're getting.
Maybe the wall of the observatory was causing some of that.
No, I think we're actually above the wall at this point because that's about that direction is about as far away from there. It's almost into the corner.
Okay.
So I think we're catching that, and there's nothing on that's going to cause that glow except the red LED on the end of the camera, and that's subdued unless we're very close to this wall here, this area, the roof. Okay. All right, let's try this. Let's actually go and let's crank up our gain here. Let's bring the gain way up and see if this can show us. Is that it right there? Maybe. We're going to find out.
It was really faint last time.
Oh, and there was actually a star near it, too. There was actually a star near it. Let me just go into here, make sure that we got the right thing. Yeah, see? It looks like it's... Yeah, see, its location is not correct either. Yeah. Its database data is incorrect as well. No problem. So we're going to go in here and go bring it up just a little bit faster. We're going to move up to it. All right. There we go. All right, and then we're going to move over to the west a little. It's pretty low in the sky now, but you know what? We'll try it, right? Okay, so now in here, yeah, there's that star. So it's right here. So let's try a 45-second exposure. And we'll go out of this and go into our stack. Clear the stack from the Rosette. Yes, it should be up there by now. Hey there, Michael K. How you doing? Michael Klagus. Oh, don't worry about being late. it's just nice to have you around. Uber cool. We had suspected snowfall coming, and it never made it. It was all ended up being rain, which I'm okay with. Thank you. I don't like to have snow. I'm not a big snow guy. When I finally get to Arizona permanently, I will definitely have snow when I want snow, because I can drive to it. Okay, so now let's color correct this. And then do this correction here and see if we can pull in some. There we go. Look at that. That's the Dolphin Head Nebula right there.
More than we saw last time.
Yeah. And we're going to... Well, we did a 45-second today. I could have done a minute and a half, but I don't want to make people sit through that. Now, we can actually do a very coarse adjustment here, which is what this does. This could be a coarse adjustment to really brighten things up. Okay. But I don't want to do that yet. I'm just going to keep us down low on this.
Somebody in chat said they wanted to see something green. I guess here's
there you go.
Green for you.
Yep. This is an interesting nebula, okay, because the Dolphin Head Nebula is something that actually is just the most amazing object in the night sky. To me, some of it is. Let me try to bring up some details about it over here so you can see what I'm talking about. I think the Dolphin Head, was this a Wolf-Rayet remnant? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Let me look it up.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, it is, yeah.
Okay. It has that characteristic look to it. The Wolf-Rayet stars, guys, these are stars that are not... We know different types. We have a good idea of the different kinds. But one thing about these stars, and it's called Wolf-Rayet, like wolf like the animal, and Rayet, R-A-Y-E-T. Wolf-Rayet stars are very, very hot stars, and for some reason, they eject a lot of their outer mass. Stars are a core, and the outer envelope of the stars is plasma. It's not doing fusion. The only fusion is taking place in that central core. And that central core, depending on the activities in some of these bigger stars, can cause that outer layer of material to be ejected. And that's what happens to these stars. And a great deal of that outer envelope, it's called, gets pushed out into space. And then, of course, the star in the middle, which might be this one, okay, if I recall, this guy right here might be the Wolf-Rayet star.
Yeah,
these stars actually cause this gas that's been blown off to actually glow, all right, through a process called ionization and recombination. Don't worry about that, but it just means that the gas glows, and the greenish blue is sort of a characteristic of what we call oxygen, doubly ionized oxygen, where two electrons are popped off the oxygen atom, and then when they recombine, they actually make a characteristic glow in this particular part of the spectrum. Hydrogen alpha is the other one that makes the red glow, like we saw in the Rosette.
What's odd about this is it says it's an H2 region, but it certainly is glowing with the green of oxygen 3.
Yeah, and that means that if we look at it with a deeper look, I mean, there's an outer halo here that's part of this red star's halo that's not an H2 region. So that might be something incorrect. But check it out. You can see some really interesting convolutions and shapes here.
Yeah.
Hey there, Papa Tom.
The Wolf-Rayet star is called
Easy.
EZ3.
Yeah.
EZ Canis Majoris.
Yep, that's this star right here. That's Easy Canis Majoris right there. Yep. I can show it to you right here. Let me jump in here. Okay, that star right there is Easy Canis Majoris. Easy CMA. And easy not for easy as in EASY, but just EZ. Yeah.
Marianne is here.
Well, I just told her we were streaming, and she was actually, probably going to go to bed. Yeah, it's pretty nice out here, Marianne. Thank you. Good to see you. So we got a lot going on out here. And I would really like to take like a 5-minute exposure of this. But I'm not going to make people sit through that. See, I would do that on our own time when we're actually doing research night. We'll actually take some longer exposures of things like this. There's a gorgeous area. And the other thing too is, guys, there's a lot more information captured than you see here, typically. Like if I do a process, okay, you'll see it gets darker, and you see, wow, you don't see so much. But if I actually then play with the levels that I would do when I'm doing processing, you can see that we can pull out a lot of detail that might be in there, and you'll see that there's other material, other detail that's actually in the middle here that we're not capturing that easily. There's the dolphin head right there, by the way. See how if you look at it from the side, it looks like a dolphin's head. That's why it's called the Dolphin Head Nebula. So that's something that is interesting. And we'll
I'm sorry, I was away for a second. Where's the dolphin head?
Oh, let me show it to you again. All right. So
I was looking at that somewhere else, and
okay,
the protuberance is the dolphin's nose.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Okay, and if I bring it up really bright, well, actually, you can do it from here. Let me just do it from here. I'll do the coarse adjustment now.
We should call it the Dolphin Nose Nebula.
Well, yeah. Well, there you can see it. See?
Yeah.
There it is right there. Yep. Now, part of the reason could be the way the star ejected this outer material. And also, part of this protuberance could be the result of the different density in the interstellar medium at that point. There might have been more stuff here that, as you can see, it causes the shell to slow down and bunch up. But then here, there might have been sort of a relatively lower amount of interstellar dust and gas, and so this part could push through. So it's like the bubbles popping, sort of thing. Marianne, by the way, is going to be at Pine Bush this year. Good, Marianne. Good to see you there. And if Bill mounts an expedition out here, you'll be able to come out with everybody to see this whole command center again. All right, so there it is. That's really nice. That's more detail than we've seen.
Yeah.
But notice the red here. So there is a diffuse nebula here.
Okay.
See, and you see this here? That is definitely a red diffuse nebula. Not to be confused with the aura of the star here. But this is definitely a red diffuse nebula, and we see the Wolf-Rayet star in the middle of it. So we'll be able to pull that out later. So this is 12 stacked right now. And I really got it pushed right now, so I could do this though. Watch this. I'm gonna move this black level over just a little bit. Darken up the background. There we go. See how many stars there really are there. Okay, that went a little too much, but you know what I'm getting at. That's cool. No, hey Louis Ta, how you doing? This is not Thor's helmet. Thor's helmet is a different object, but it's the same type of object. It is also the result of a Wolf-Rayet star. And this one here, if I don't miss my guess, I think this one is closer. Let me get out of there. The distance here. Okay, this one is. No, maybe not. This one is 7,955 light years away. This is EZ Canis Majoris, the star that caused all this. It's about 8,000 light years away. And I think Thor's helmet is similar, isn't it?
I forget. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. That's pretty cool. All right, so we did 14. We're going to do 15, and then we'll stop it here.
Interesting. Saw more than I thought we would.
Yeah. No, yeah, and that's actually kind of low right now, too. Look how low the telescope is pointing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 15, and we're going to save it now. I'll pause it too, not that I have to. And then I will save it exactly as seen. And then that will...
Name it.
I did that wrong again, didn't I? Okay. All right, you know what? Let's do that again. You're right, I did it. I keep forgetting to name it. Why? Yeah, I know. Let's not do anything right now. I'm going to just start it over. Okay, Dolphin, head.
And
Nebula.
you're on auto there. So that's full size? It's really that big?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's bigger than the full moon.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, Dolphin Head Nebula. Okay. Now, let's do this again.
You said 8,000 light years away, approximately?
Yeah, that's what it says, yeah.
And it's bigger than the full moon. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, now we'll save exactly as seen. Okay, and this will go up there. Marianne's talking about Pine Bush right now. She likes being arrested dressed up as an alien by the Men in Black. That's what we did to her last year. All right.
Kinky.
No. And PG, of course, will be there. All right, let's clear this. What's that?
And UFOs and aliens, that's pretty kinky.
Yeah, that's true. All right, do this, this. 1 second, and we do the enhanced view. All right. When I do the enhanced, we should see less red. Because... Oh, wait, I got to get rid of the stack. Sorry. All right. Yeah, see, we're seeing a little less red because we don't have that deep red at the sun. Maybe a little bit. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go to another place in the sky where we won't see this. All right. We are actually really low in the sky. Let me just show you how low. There's our horizon, guys. Yeah, we're just a few degrees up, but we're actually 15 degrees above the horizon right now. All right. So, let's go somewhere else, shall we? Oh, where can we go from this? I don't even know. I'm kidding, of course. Okay. We do have some other objects here. I can't wait. I really want to... I do want to image Centaurus A. That's not happening for a while. It's straight down from Virgo?
Yeah, it's pretty much below Virgo.
Okay.
Below.
Oh, we got a ways.
Well, there's Virgo, and then under Virgo there's Corvus and Crater the Cup, and under that is the tail end of Hydra the water snake, and then Centaurus is below Hydra.
Yeah.
Way down there.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna go here. We're gonna go to this spot in the sky. All right.
M95, 96.
You got
Remember
it.
that image I sent you the other night?
Yes.
You think you'll be able to see any of that on M96?
We're gonna find out. It depends
Okay.
how well we can actually. Because if you look where the telescope is pointing, it's can be pretty high in the sky.
All right. Will you excuse me for just a moment, please?
Sure.
Right back.
All right, I'll be right here. Okay. So we're going to take a look at these two galaxies, and keep in mind when you look at these galaxies that, you know, effectively that's the star we're using as our waypoint star. You could be looking at alien life and not even know it. I think that's just so cool. You could be right there and not even know it. And there we go. There's several galaxies, and as you'll discover in galaxy season when we start looking at galaxies, we see so many galaxies in one single view. It's really amazing what we can see. You know, really is. Okay, so let's focus on these two guys right now. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my guide scope status here. And you're going to see it'll say searching. All right, it's looking for a guide star. When it starts showing numbers, it shows that it's locked onto a guide star and we can start taking the photos. Okay, we're locked on already, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to do a 20-second shot of these galaxies. These galaxies are pretty bright, and you're going to see some amazing stuff in here. Alright, so 20 seconds underway. Let's bring up the stack. We'll start a stack, and ERRT Radio is here. That is Ronald. How you doing, Ronald? Good to see you. Okay. It's gonna do that to me again. Alright. Alright. Okay, that's the dolphin head. I forgot to clear it. Okay. No worries. And now our galaxies. Ah, look at that. Nice. As you can see, this amount of time, only 20 seconds, is too long. It's almost too long. Let's get the sky black again with the color correction here. There we go. All right. And now let's remove this. Let this stack a while. Let's zoom in, check it out. Make sure we're focused. Focus does change as the temperature goes down. And I forgot to turn on the temperature correction here. I'll do it now. And it may change the focus. But look at those beautiful. You're looking at what's called a barred spiral, I believe. This, you can see this has a nucleus and it has this extended bar sticking out. And then at the end of the bar, that's when the spiral arms come off. See how that happens? It comes off here, and the spiral arms go out like this after that, off that bar. And we see the same thing with other galaxies. And that this galaxy here, I'm not sure if this is a barred spiral. It might be. I have to look. But the designation for those are capital S, capital B for spiral barred spiral. That means it has that nuclear bar on it. I believe this is a barred spiral as well. Let's go check it out. All right, and the two galaxies we're looking at are M95 and M96. All right, and Daryl is back.
I'm back.
Yeah. Izabela just put up the dolphin head. Thank you, Izabela. All right, and this is measure 95 and 96 here. 96, of course, is the one further to the east. That's not a, it just happens to be, it doesn't have to be. But 96, let's see, it's actually, yeah, it's a barred spiral as well. And this guy here, I believe 95 is also a barred spiral, and it is. And these galaxies are, oh, good night, Laura, thank you for coming. These galaxies are classified by how open their spiral arms are, or how tight their spiral arms are wound. You can see there's some space here. So this is probably an it's sort of a, it's an SAB, it's called. I'll define those for you at another stream, I think. But this one here, this gives you a really good understanding of how a barred spiral looks. Look at that bar going right across the center here. And only at the end of that bar do you see this really sharp set of spiral arms come off. And they go all the way around. And then off the left end, they go all the way around. It's pretty amazing, huh? So that's how barred spirals work. It's thought that our own galaxy is a barred spiral. We didn't think we were for the longest time, but now we think we are a barred spiral. Which is neat. I like barred spirals. They're neat.
Is this 95 or 96?
This is going to be 95.
Okay.
So if I zoom out, you'll see that 96 is to the left. There it is. Okay, now let's, while we're here, why don't we actually point out something else. One of the things to point out is you see more galaxies in here. All right. That's the thing. When you're looking in certain areas of the universe, there's galaxies almost everywhere you look. And this area of the sky is no stranger to galaxies. As you can see up here, we got another one up there. Okay. We got one here. We got one here. We got one down below we just saw. And that's not the end of it. There's more still. Thanks, Lewis. These are beautiful galaxies. See, here's the one down here. So, just think. Maybe far, far away in this galaxy, we could be looking at a life out there and not even know it. Same here. Same here. Now, it could be that these two galaxies are roughly the same size and just the same relative distance, and thus they look the same size in the sky. Or it could be that one of these galaxies is much closer and one of these is much further away, and so the one that's closer is smaller than the one that's further away. But in this particular case, with these two galaxies, 95 and 96, if we look at these, all right, let's check out, this is 95 here. Its distance is 32 million light years, and 96 is actually similar at 31 million light years. So they're actually similar distances from us. Okay, pretty cool. Neat, neat, neat. So that's M95 and M96. Okay.
Now, do you see any of what we talked about on M96?
In M96, which is over here.
Oh,
right?
That's 95, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry, 96 over here. We have to zoom in to see. I might have to do a shorter exposure.
I can just barely see it. There, that bright spot at about 10 o'clock from the center of the galaxy.
Right here?
No, farther out to the upper left.
Right there? Or up here?
I think that. I want to say that's the center of that other galaxy.
That
The folks, what we're talking about, APOD, Astrophoto of the Day, recently published a photograph of M96, and one of the spiral arms that we see actually just happens to have a whole other spiral galaxy almost edge on, lying right in the same line of sight as the spiral arm is. And this appears to be mirrored from that APOD image, but I think that's it there at about 10 o'clock.
I think you're right.
The center of that galaxy.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's just add a little darker contrast here. You might be right. That's it right there, I think.
Yeah.
Well, see, so that's sort of like the picture within the picture, right? These are beautiful galaxies.
I'm going to post a link.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sure. That's fine. Okay, let's go back to our nice view here. We're going to take all of the frame and fit it into the view here. All right. And first of all, let's pause this stack at 23. And we're going to save the stack, but not before I rename it. I think I have these M95 M96, and these are galaxies. Okay, all right, and now we can save it. That'll save to that up on the server, and then save it just as we see it. So we get the raw stack saved up there. If you want to do processing on your own, it's available for you. And then we do this. So now this, you can get it just as you see it here. Zoom in, check it out, enjoy it. We love letting you do that. Love having you do that. Okay. That said, let's now go to something else. We're going to look at something called the Leo Triplet, which is up here. There we go. Let's see here. Where's the needle, the hamburger galaxy? Where's that one? That's the one I was just looking for.
The needle or the hamburger?
Not the needle yet, but the hamburger.
It's the one to the upper left of 65 and 66.
Yeah, and that's back this way. If I recall, it's more eastward, I think, or westward.
Eastward.
Eastward?
M95 and 96 are under the lion's belly. M65 and 66 and the hamburger, which comprise the triplet, they're closer under the lion's tail, under his hindquarters.
Okay. But M105 and these guys, this is not it, so I got to keep going.
Yeah, it's farther to the left.
I got to keep moving out here. What am I doing? All right. There we go. So now we can see it. All right.
There you go.
Yeah. Because this set of galaxies is really pretty, and they help fill the field, which is kind of fun. We'll go to the hamburger. If I could get a hamburger today, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday.
Wimpy, get out of my store.
Alright, so let's go here.
I
And
will
to do that-
gladly pay you Tuesday for the hamburger today.
Right. Poor Wimpy. Always trying to get everybody to give him free food. Okay.
As Mark said earlier, when we're looking in this direction in space, we start seeing tons of galaxies.
Oh yeah.
Because we're sort of getting into the neighborhood of the Virgo cluster. We're
Yeah.
just farther off to the left.
We're getting close. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull this up.
In this part of the sky, Leo, Virgo, and above them and between them in Camelopardalis, which I've talked about before, is just incredibly full of galaxies.
Yes. Let me drop this.
Alright, talking about coffee in chat. Too late for coffee. My tea's gone too. Shouldn't even be drinking water this late.
Really?
Yeah. I will. But though I shouldn't.
Okay. Okay, so now we have our 3 galaxies. Let's center them up a little more. Again, you can see what our guide system is doing here. It's searching for a guide star right now. And when you see the numbers show up, that means it's actually focused on a star and it's starting to very, very carefully guide. All right. And while it's waiting to do that, there it goes. It's already going. Let's do a 40-second shot of this region called the Leo Triplet. All right. And we will come off of our enhanced view here, right here. And then we will... first thing I'm going to do is actually rename this to Leo Triplet. Get this right. All right, and we'll go back and start our live stack. Here we go. And now I always hit clear anyway. All right. Arliss Ray, how you doing? Good to see you. Shiban BS, how are you? All right. We're going to be here for our first one. Let's see what we got. Oh, look at that, folks. Look at that. Wow. Let's actually do a color correction, get our stars, or get our sky looking proper color. And now let's try to shift a little bit of this darkness. There we go. Look at that. Look at a hamburger galaxy. That looks really pretty. Isn't it amazing? And these are these beautiful galaxies or universes of stars. All these dots here that you're seeing, these are stars in our galaxy. So we're looking through them at the galaxies way out here. Okay, so we're looking through our stars to see these galaxies out here. And that's how that works. So it's a really, the universe is 3D. The universe is 3D. This is really impressive here. Of course, if you look where the telescope's pointing, it's pointing, you know, pretty much almost straight up. Really, really pretty.
Several more galaxies in that image.
Oh yeah, there's one right
Besides
here.
the triplet, yeah.
There's one right there. There's a faint one right there. there's one right there too. It looks very faint. And one thing I haven't done, which I'll do while this is stacking, is I'm going to go bring up some more of our catalogs for this guy. Let's go to DSO. And we're going to add some catalogs. We're going to add Barnard's catalog. We're going to add Caldwell, which has lots of galaxies. Barnard's catalog is a catalog of dark nebula. Sharpless is a catalog of objects as well, which contains some objects like that. We also have large bright nebulae. I'm sorry, Lund's bright nebula catalog and Lund's dark nebula catalog. And we can do the Melots as well, but we'll skip that for now. And this is good for now, I think. And now what will happen is when we come out of this, you'll see more objects labeled and more objects available to us. All right, so we're actually over here. So let's do this. Let's center on this guy. And we can see that it's not quite perfect yet. We have to actually center it up. Okay, so let's come back here now. Okay. Let's zoom in. Actually, let's let this do its thing and show the whole screen. Okay. All right. Now let's zoom in. We'll zoom in on the Hamburger Galaxy right now. Okay. You'll see that this galaxy, is a spiral galaxy that has spiral arms in it, but notice that they look disheveled. They look like they're spread out over here and a little more cohesive over here, but there's some dark stuff you see coming down here and dark stuff coming down here. It's almost like it's curved. You see that? What's happening is likely an interaction with other galaxies that's causing that material to be pulled down. Keep in mind, these galaxies have been in the universe, orbiting each other and doing things for quite a long time. So they've actually been interacting with each other in the past. And we're seeing just that result of all that interaction right now. That's what we're seeing. Okay, and if we come down below, you'll see also that this galaxy has this distended arm out here. There's something going on out here too. Something pulled it. Maybe it was interacting with this galaxy. This one looks relatively untouched, but it's not. There's also things going on with it. First thing we're going to do, I can see that the guiding is off just a bit. So I am going to, this was a 40-second shot. It actually could be a little bit of wind. We actually have some wind affecting us out there, but I've tried to keep it minimal by going to objects that don't affect us too badly. All right, let's darken up the background a bit.
Galaxy on the left certainly looks disturbed.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. You can see that it has some disturbance here, and there's a secondary outflow out here. That outflow isn't gas. Those are stars, guys. Those are all stars that are being pulled. And there's some gas and dust, but for the most part, you're looking at stars that are causing this illumination. This galaxy looks like the least touched galaxy in the triplet. This one looks like it's had a disturbing encounter with this galaxy up here that we're going to get to again, the Hamburger. Yep. You can see the beautiful brownish dust going through the middle of this galaxy, and it spreads out in all directions here. That's interesting. It knots up over here. That's definitely a galaxy that's had strange interactions with other galaxies in this region. Very much so. Let's try something. Let's see where it wants to put the processing. Oh, it's gonna hyper it up even more. Okay, it's going to increase the contrast. Look at that, though. Isn't that beautiful? That's pretty gorgeous. This is 10 stacked images so far. This will be the Leo Triplet. Yeah, and I'm going to actually bring out some more data by doing this. I'm going to drag this middle bar over a little bit. It's going to soften up things. See that? Look what it does. Look at that. Interesting here, Daryl. You notice there seems to be some kind of a object in this galaxy that's pretty strange.
Yes.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that. Let's go to this galaxy, everybody.
Very blue.
Yeah.
And,
I wonder if that's an OB association. You know, hot O and B stars, maybe
be.
seen from a long distance.
Curious, looking at the lower left of the
So
at
it's
the end
got
of the
there
bar.
too.
Not
Yeah,
there,
down
well,
here.
there, but yeah, that right there. It's kind of a big loop or
Yeah.
hook shape or something.
Yeah. Well, see, that's also a barred spiral, guys, that we're talking about here. And this blue could be a collection of hot blue stars. Because we see some out here. These are hot and blue. And let's be clear, in the disk regions of these galaxies, that's where star formation is taking place. That's where the stars are being born. So they tend to be hot and blue stars when they're born young like that. They're young stars. And while they're furiously burning and fusing, I should say, hydrogen into helium, well, then they're going to be pretty darn bright. And that's what we see here. Really neat. This is really pretty. Look at this. This red here. There's a hydrogen 2 region. This is one of those large regions of gas that's glowing red. There's some more over here. I'm sure there's these regions all throughout here. Not bad at all. This is really pretty. Let's go to the other one. I mean, look at how. Actually, I gotta say though. Let's check one more look at this. See how this disturbed this is, like you were saying before, Daryl? Look at it, it's like a hook.
Uh-huh.
Something's going on out there.
Yeah, that certainly interacted with something, and boy, if I had to guess,
Yeah.
I'd say the hamburger.
Yeah, because the hamburger is the other one that's really showing some really detrimental effects. And here is this galaxy. This galaxy seems pretty regular. Might be another barred spiral based on what I'm seeing here, but it's actually quite well put together.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have any of the disturbance that this lower Leo Triplet one does, and the hamburger shows right here. The hamburger is showing very nicely right now. And we're at 130% on the sensor. We're actually zoomed in more than we should be.
Heck
If
of a
we
dark
zoom up
plane
to-
in that one.
Yeah, look at that, huh? And look how it spreads out.
Yep, and it's very distended on both ends.
Yeah. Goes through here. Definitely has some interaction. If we let's go to 100%. So it'll get a little smaller. Okay, but that's the actual size. That's the native size of the sensor right now that we're looking at. Okay. Really pretty. This is 16 stacked right now. So these two, this one and the hamburger up above, have probably been near each other before.
Yeah. And there's some real faint stuff just above that galaxy, too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. And if we bring it back out, I'll just bring this in. You'll see it. Okay, let's bring this out. There we go.
Yeah.
Now this makes it a little noisier, but for purposes of trying to see what's out there, guys, this helps us to see it. See, you can see this stuff out here now.
Yeah, stuff
we
on
talked about
top,
before.
stuff to the right.
Oh yeah. There seems to be a trail here. You know?
That's really something.
Yeah. This came out beautiful. Let's go back to the hamburger now and see if we've got any additional material. Oh yeah, look at this. There's a dark lane that actually comes out here. This galaxy is being torn apart by tidal interactions with these other galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the gas out here. This galaxy is being torn apart. Wow, this is incredible. Very cool. I'm liking this. Alright, let's just go to fill the size of our field here. 4 full moons across, 3 full moons tall. And now we'll pause this at, we'll let this one more exposure come in to give us 19 exposures. And then, here we go. Then we'll pause it. And I've got Leo Triplet up there, and we're going to save it. And so it'll save the Leo Triplet to our directory. And then we'll save the object as seen. These 3 objects. I'm really impressed with these galaxies tonight. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can clear this now. They're done. And they've been recorded and researched, and now what we can do is move on. Bonnie wants to know more about tidal interactions. Sure. Tidal interactions on a galactic scale, Bonnie, keep in mind, these are giant centers of gravity. They have massive gravitational forces, okay? And when you have another one out here, if you have one go near it, okay, then you'll see that this is a spiral and this is a spiral. If the spirals pass each other, what will happen is their spiral arms are going to get pulled toward each other, okay, and warped as the galaxies go by. And that's because of the gravitational tugging that's going on. And that changes the shape of galaxies. And then we just see a snapshot in time. Little snapshot in the history of the universe for the short lifetime that we live. And so we see these galaxies as they're in their interactions. It's like watching dancers frozen in time. You know, then it's up to you to figure out where they were earlier and what the dance was. See what I mean? It's not easy to figure this stuff out. You have to reverse engineer based on the motions of the stars. So if you can see that the dancers are next to each other, spinning, and then they're frozen in time, like 2 galaxies in the universe. Now you have to figure out which direction was this one spinning, which direction was that one spinning. How fast were the arms moving when they were raising their arms? See, so that's the analogy that I use when we talk about galaxies and how they look over time and the interaction we see, like watching 2 dancers.
If you want to see a great demonstration of that, you might go to M51.
That is a good demonstration, and I think it's in prime position. But I also want to do M81 and M82 tonight as well.
Yeah.
So we'll do that as well. Okay, let's 1 second here. Hyper it up. So we have our enhanced finder view for 1 second exposures. So now we can see what's going on. Okay. Let's first of all, let's go check out what else we have in the region. There's Denebola.
Lion's tail.
Yeah.
You're close to 4565 too.
I am, aren't I?
Of course, there's the whole Virgo cluster right there.
Yeah, and we actually can see it. I think we can actually catch it right now.
You
It's
haven't
at
done
60
Virgo
degrees
F2
up.
yet, have you?
I have not. Alright. Well, why don't we just jump right into the middle here?
Sure.
Alright. You want to see galaxies, guys? Wait. You're going to see galaxies galore. Alright, we're going to go to something called Markarian's Chain. And here's the, well, they speak for themselves. You'll see. All right, high precision slewing. We're going to go now. You're going to watch the telescope drift more to the east, which is that way. All right. If you look in the building, okay, that way out the back, that's toward the north. Okay, this is toward the south. That's toward the east, and that's toward the west. Okay. All right, so it's centering Denebola, the lion's tail, right there. And then we're going to get Markarian's chain brought in. Let's do this. Okay, and then come back here. There we go. Lots and lots of galaxies in this image. Oh, should I go for a galactic deep sky shot, or should I go a shallower shot just to show details? I think I'm going to go for the large scale shot here. Okay, we got our guide star. We're going. So let's do this now. Let's do a 45-second exposure of Markarian's chain. Bring it back. Okay. Clear this. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at these galaxies, okay, which are in just copious supply here. I mean, we've got tons and tons of galaxies here. So this is really, really pretty. Let's go back and wait for the first shot to come in. We're 1 second away. Oh, talk about galaxies, right? Talk about galaxies. You haven't seen galaxies until you've seen galaxies. And these are your galaxies. Okay, let's do this now. Let's get a little processing so now we can actually check this out for a while. Look at that. Now, do you know how many galaxies you see in here? Good luck counting. We've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We have over 22 galaxies in this shot. This is just incredible. Wow, this is something. All right, let's bring some of the detail back in. Okay, just soften up the background just a little. Here we go. What do you think of that, guys? Isn't that something? Wow.
Yep. And for all that, we're still just catching a small part of the whole cluster.
Oh, yeah. We are. I mean, right here you got 1, 2, 3 galaxies right there. This is just incredible. Now, every one of these galaxies, they're in a cluster. That means that they're actually interacting with each other, and they are. Hello, Leslie Latin Taylor. How are you? I just saw you there. I'm sorry. Isn't this beautiful, though? I mean, check it out. This is just stunning. Just stunning. This is worth a big screen. Let's just pull this out and give me a big screen. Yeah, there we go. Wow.
When we look toward the Virgo cluster here, folks, this is the direction that we are moving in space. Ultimately, our galaxy, our whole local group of galaxies, it's all moving toward Virgo cluster.
The Great Attractor.
That's even farther away.
Yes.
The Virgo cluster is moving toward the Great Attractor,
Yeah.
which, if I remember correctly, is down in the Southern Triangle.
But we're all moving toward that Great Attractor. Wow, it's just something else. This is beautiful. I'm finding this to be quite a lovely shot and a lovely night. You can see some faint detail in here. Look at all these galaxies. Each one of these is a Milky Way. Each and every one of these is a Milky Way in and of itself. Some are much bigger than the Milky Way. Some are smaller. But for the most part, they are each their own island universe. This cluster of galaxies right here, these could be massive galaxies further away. So they could be really big further away, and these guys here could be closer to us. So we remember, it's a three-dimensional universe. So if we actually come in here and just take a look, if we look at this Markarian's chain, starting with this one's 51 million light years away, right here. And these fainter ones that we're seeing down below, these guys, let me come back in here and get them. Okay, these guys, like this guy here. Okay, this one right here. This one is 54 million light years away, as opposed to this guy, which is, let's see this one again, 51. So basically what we're saying is, coming back in here, okay, this galaxy here, 51 million light years away. This one here, 54. So this one's slightly further away, but that means this galaxy is a lot bigger than this galaxy is. So you see, it looks like they're further away, but it's not by much in this particular case. And then we have these giant elliptical galaxies, but they can look round because they're called designated with an E, like this guy right here. This one is looks like an E0 almost, maybe an E1, and they go out to E9 or so. So the more and more elliptical galaxies. And I'm wondering where the Virgo Galaxy is.
It's off to your lower left.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that is where we have been looking. Yeah,
right down
that is the Virgo. That's the Virgo Galaxy.
M87. That's the one, labeled Virgo Galaxy right there.
Yeah,
that's M87.
I think this is M87 here, right there.
Okay.
I think. It sure looks it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. It's this galaxy right here, guys. That one right there, where we actually saw the black hole. We actually captured a black hole in that galaxy right there. That's the Virgo Galaxy.
Yeah,
right?
That's like a trillion stars.
Yeah. And
that's the center of the cluster right there.
Yep.
That's the heavyweight of the cluster.
Yep. The most massive galaxy in this entire cluster. So that is it's a very interesting galaxy, and it has this supermassive black hole, an SMBH as we call it, in the middle, which is part of the reason, if not the entire reason, the galaxy is held together with a trillion stars in it like this. keep in mind that the Andromeda Galaxy has about 1 trillion stars as well. So it doesn't have to just be an elliptical galaxy that has that many stars. It can be a regular spiral that's just ultra massive. If you think about it, you think about our galaxy. Our galaxy has about like 100 billion stars, and once in the past they estimated up to 400 billion. But if the most, it looks like it might be about 150 billion stars. So our galaxy's tiny compared to some of these galaxies. That's really quite small. Just amazing. Where's my antenna galaxies? I want to find those. I'm going to go to the antennae. Those should be up. Nice Markarian's chain here. It looks gorgeous. Okay, 12 stacked images here. Let's go and pause it here. All right, and
Name it.
I'm doing it now. I'm gonna change the name. This is Markarian's chain. Get off of that. All right, Markarian's chain is these galaxies we're seeing right here. Okay, and now we'll save it, and you'll see we've got our FITS file saved, which is our raw data, and then we're going to go and save exactly as seen. Yeah, great. Okay, now let's clear. Let's go to 1 second. And then let's go and I got to get rid of this. All right, 1 second.
Stop the live stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna. All right, and then let's do the hyper shot, like the visually enhanced finder, and then let's, for the moment, let's just get rid of this so I can see the telescope. No, go away. Go away. Thank you. I want to see my scope. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Now what we're going to do is something a little interesting. We're going to actually move ourselves over to the east a little bit. And do a couple of things here. What I'd like to do is try to see if we can capture part of the optical jet from M87. It might not work with this because it's an f2 telescope that we're using, and usually need focal length, which means magnification.
Yeah, we've caught it before.
Yeah, but not with an f2.
Right.
All right. But the idea is to do it at a much shorter exposure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so Starlock is searching. All right, I'm also going to take a moment to run our focus process one more time. Oh, I have to turn off our temperature dependence. And then run out the focus a bit. All right. There we go. And now we'll take our tools, do our focus assistant, and we'll do our full width half maximum focus process. And you'll see many of the stars that are selected for this process will appear in yellow boxes. Here we go. And we're at 50% right now. So now we're going to say we're going to scan inward now. And it will start to do a focus process where it's going to build that curve again. So we're doing it. Jessica S., I don't think I said hi to you. I'm sorry. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to get a very nice curve and beautiful focus, and then we can actually go after things we want to see. This is a critical focusing tool that's going to that makes it so we can get the ultimate focus possible for this telescope system. You can see the curve forming over there. If you guys like SkyTour Livestream, please don't forget to hit the like button on this for us. Help us in the analytics. Okay, there you see our optimum curve right there. So you get a beautiful curve. Well done. So we're almost done. The current location is that one right there. You see that line right there. That's the other end. And when this turns green up here, you'll notice, like it just did, we now have a curve. We're going to tell it to go to the best position. It's going to slide all the way across, then come back into the center. Watch the stars. They go in focus, out of focus, and then back into perfect focus. There we go. And that's great. And now we turn on our temperature dependence one more time. All right. Okay, now I think I want to just do I want to try a 5-second exposure Daryl, because I want to try and capture just that object, that jet coming out.
Okay.
So let's go into the live stack and see if that was enough to do it. Let's clear. Okay, now we're going to do this again. Okay, yeah, we got a satellite. Oh, it's gonna pierce the heart of M87.
Looks like.
That's cool.
Thank you, Izabela.
Oh, thank you for putting that up, Izabela. Thank you.
Well, it is.
See, I told you. Yeah, look at that. Right to the heart of M87.
Yep.
Outstanding. But that satellite trail is short-lived. It's going to be removed. Okay, let's do some processing to try and show.
Thank you, Leslie.
Oh, Leslie, thank you. Wow. I just saw that. Oh, thank you, Leslie. We're going to give you as much of this as we can stand. Amazing people we have watching this stuff, you know. I really enjoy it. Okay, looks like I think we need more stack and longer exposures. Not longer exposures, but this exposure is good, but we need that to keep the stack coming. Actually, let's turn off the bilateral filter, because that's going to hide the jet. All right, bilateral. Oh, is that it right there? You see that?
I think I do.
All right. I don't know if that's it though. We're at 162% on our sensor right now. I think I would have to. We might have actually gone too long of exposure. But you know what? We can work on that, because we can come in here and let's do this. Let's pull this over. Now watch.
Yeah.
Right
It's at
there.
about 2:30 o'clock, and I
Right there.
think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what's the significance of that jet? Well, that jet is an energetic beam of energy that is also spewing out gas from this galaxy at high speed. And it's really quite an amazing jet. That's definitely the jet right there. You can see that.
Yeah.
Let's zoom in even more. Oh yeah, look at that. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just need to get rid of some of the glare. That's what we do. We use our tools at our disposal to do that. Look, it's very, very obvious. Look at that right there. Very nice. In fact, it's got a knot in it. See, that's got some kind of a knot right there. There's like a knot of brightness in there. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool.
The jet is being shot out of the center of the galaxy by the black hole, folks.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
Yeah. Well, the black hole is the size of roughly 6 solar system diameters in the middle of this galaxy. That's huge. That's a massive, massive black hole. Hence the name supermassive black hole. But there you go. And we've done 45 stacked here already. So we're going to pause this. And I'm going to rename this now to M87. And then I'm going to save it. And you can see that massive jet right there. And then we'll save it exactly as seen, because the idea is to show that jet. Beautiful. Okay. So now we'll clear this. Clear the stack. Go down to our 1 second. This is only a 5-second exposure, so you can see the telescope is running quite fast. And let's go up to our hybrid view. Might be able to see part of the jet here, even in selected exposures. We're at 100. No, we're at 400% here, so that's quite a feat. And then we come out. All right. So now let's go and check out what else do we want to go see. Let's go back to
Izabela,
the
the
Galaxy.
jets are, well, they may change over the course of time, but they're so large compared, the whole galaxy is so large, and the jet's bigger than the galaxy is.
Yeah.
I'd pretty much have to call it constant. I mean, they're big enough and far enough away, we wouldn't see any meaningful change in the course of a lifetime.
I would agree with that. I would have to agree with that.
As Mark noted earlier, there appeared to be a bright knot in the jet, though. So,
there is
over
one.
the course, long enough period of time, I mean, it does change that when that bright knot got emitted and it's on its way moving out along the jet out of the galaxy. But we would never see the change.
Well, if we could stick around long enough to view it, we could. In the same way that we see the Crab Nebula expanding. We wouldn't see it expanding in a lifetime, pretty much, but over the course of several lifetimes, we would see it. And we have. We recorded it. Okay, I'm going here for a reason. Alright. I'm got the M87 there. And there's the Virgo cluster right there. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to synchronize on that. There we go. Alright, now we're synchronized on that cluster. Okay, now let's zoom out a little bit. And where's, is it 4565?
Up in Coma.
That's 4565, right?
Up in Goma, yes.
Okay.
Towards the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to, this is really pretty. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go to 4565. Here it is. I would probably be best served if I actually typed it correctly. Right there. There we go. And let's go check it out. Whoops. And off we go. Yeehaw. All right. So. All right. High precision slewing. This particular star that we're using is Vindimiatrix. Vindimiatrix. Center it up, and then off we go to NGC 4565. What's that, you might ask? Well, that's another cool galaxy that you will like. And it's a most exciting looking galaxy. Here it is. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that up. This galaxy presents really, really beautifully. It has this dark lane across the middle that you would just really enjoy looking at once we get a few stacked images undergoing its... let's see now. We're going to go to the west a little bit here. All right. We're going to center it up. Okay. And then you can watch here. You'll see that it's going to say it's idle, but then it starts searching for a guide star. And it doesn't search until the telescope stops. All right. So while it's doing that, you'll start to see it poke out numbers here in just a second. We'll do a 35-second exposure of this guy. All right. And... waiting for the Starlock to guide. We need about 11 seconds. All right, there we go. All right. So let's now get rid of this and go into our live stack view. All clear. We have NGC 4565. And this is going to be pretty. I can tell this is going to be pretty. Look where the telescope's pointing. It's pointing almost straight up. You know, and that's usually the best views, guys, because we're looking through the least amount of air when we're pointing straight up. We're not quite straight up here, but we're close. So we have 5 seconds. Yes, Izabela, this one is cool. Oh, look at that. Wow. Wow, that's favorites. Beautiful. Yeah, and then there's another one right here. That is just incredible. All right, so let's let this play for a while. And let's pull this out of here for now. There we go. Now, NGC 4565 is a galaxy that is in Coma Berenices, which is Berenices' hair. Its distance is 56 million light years away, and it's actually an a spiral galaxy, SA, and it's possibly an SB, We can't tell because it's edge on. What that means is, when we look at galaxies that are tightly spiraled up, then they're SA galaxies. SBs are less loosely, capital S, little b, and capital S, little c's are loosely bound galaxies. And this one here looks like it might be a very tightly wound, or an SB at the most, or at the least, rather. So let's check this out. Let's zoom in. Okay. We're going to go to about 100% because it already supports it. Look at this. It is just beautiful. And the guiding is good tonight. Here's another galaxy out here. Look at that dark lane. If you notice, we're not perfectly edge on. We're just kind of tilted a little bit so we can see kind of underneath it. Right? We're seeing just underneath it. And so we're seeing these dark lanes curving around the underside of this galaxy. Right? Because you see how there's less here and then there's more here. Yeah. Now I think right nearby we also have the Sombrero.
No, the Sombrero's a fair bit down to the south.
Yeah, but before we get up north, we probably want to look at the Sombrero, I would think.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Here's another galaxy up here.
Yep.
Right in between our words. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned the last time, it looks like you can just see the nucleus of the galaxy, the brightest part, peeking out from under that dark lane.
Yeah, right there. You said that before, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's zoom in here just to see. There it is. I'm wondering if that's actually a star. I don't remember that being a star, but it could be a star that's between us and that galaxy. I'm not sure. Not sure. We're actually getting some significant detail here. Look at the modeling in this arm. It's like we're looking at the underside of the arm. Look at these lines, these curved, these spiral arms curving around. Flashes in the telescope. Okay, Izabela says, what are the flashes in the telescope window from time to time? What, I mean, over here, Izabela, or over here? If you're seeing flashes over here, keep in mind that there are bugs out at the observatory, and they are attracted to the infrared camera that is giving us these views. So they show up as bright white splotches as they pass through. If that's what you... Okay, yes. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing little tiny moths. One time I actually saw a spider. And the spider was actually building a web right in front of the camera. Now we have black widows out there, so we have to be careful. You know. Look at this. Beautiful brown. Wow. You notice this color here? The color of this disc is a little bit blue, isn't it? And that's because there's younger stars here. So that's why the disk stars, the disk populations are bluer. So we're getting an excellent color rendition here. And while we're waiting for this, I'm going to actually give us just a little bit of processing to actually help us with this. Alright, so let's do this. Let's pull our black level over to really help us give some contrast to what we're looking at. Alright, so let's do this. Pull it over. A little too much. That's better. Look at that. So now we can see more details. Look at this spiral arms. You can see these lanes of darkness going around there. It's a deep projected wheel. It's like from here you'd see it going around, but from here it looks more like an ellipse. And that's what we see. You might be looking at countless civilizations right now, sitting out in the middle of the void. And again, these are stars that are all up here in our galaxy, and that galaxy's way out here, millions of light years further beyond. Wow. That is just something.
If we see the Sombrero Galaxy tonight, it will actually look very much like this, but it's tipped a little bit farther, and
Yep.
You may get a sense of why they call it the Sombrero.
Well, we've got 12 stacked here. That's good for this one because it really doesn't need a lot. So
I
let's
saw a
pause
nice
it.
image of the Sombrero this morning.
Did you?
It was on Reddit. Some guy took a picture of it from his backyard.
Okay.
He was using a Celestron 9 1/4, in fact.
Oh,
It was a nice picture.
okay. That sounds fantastic. All right, so this one will be up there for you guys. And now let's go to. Wow, it's 1 o'clock already. Whew. I can't believe. Well, we started so much later. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to bed in a little bit.
All right. Let me just do this. Let me. 1 second here, and then we're gonna just give ourselves this thing. Get rid of the stack. All right. And go into our nice night vision processing here. All right, and we're at 95%. Let's go down to the full frame for this view. Okay, there we are. And now we're actually running at less than our normal gain right now. And this brightness here is not sky glow. It's just the brightness of the sky that is being taken in by this camera. The sky is actually very dark out there. So you can overexpose even a dark sky. It's harder typically, but alright, so let's see now. Let's go to our planetarium. Ouch. And let's look for the Sombrero.
Just west of
Sombrero.
Spica.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so it's actually should be high enough to see. So here we go. You'll watch the telescope move up there. Okay. Here we go. It's probably going to use Spica as the waypoint star.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe not. Izabela. Jeez, Izabela, where'd you get that? I wonder who the author was. Oh, that might be Spica. Oh no, it's Al Garab. Izabela is quoting the final observation I made in my book called The Populated Universe. With every starry point I see, someone else looking back at me. Yeah. Snoop Dogg. You're funny. That's cool. David Schmidt says Snoop Dogg. Walt Whitman, Leslie says. No, sorry. Just little old Mark D'Antonio. Okay. Did we find ourselves not going to it right? Oh yeah, see? It has the wrong coordinates for it. Yeah, I'm finding a lot of bad coordinates. You know?
Yeah, and you just sank the telescope a little while ago.
Oh yeah, the telescope is, the telescope is at the right place. It's just not on the right thing. Like right now, it says the telescope should be at 12 hours 40 minutes, and it's at 12:28. So it's quite a ways off because it's not, the sombrero in the database is not correct. Okay, so let's just go to our faster rate here. Let's do a rate of, say, this here, which I think was it 1 degree or 0.5 degrees? Okay. Now we'll head to the east. Okay. There we go. Past those 2 stars, we just went by those. Alright. And the sombrero will be coming into view here soon. And now we'll go up a little. There's the sombrero. Okay. So now what we can do is go back to our speed that we want to set it at. And then move the sombrero over. So here we go. Yeah, that's true. Team Bolsador says, just thinking, it's hard to believe it's been streaming for 2.5 hours. I agree. It seems like it's nothing. Yeah. It's true. It's hard to believe that. Okay, so now you can already see what we were talking about before with this galaxy that's going to look the same but sort of from a different angle. And let's just go north and bring it in. Okay. Alright, and then this will be good. And let's just do a 20-second shot here, because the sombrero is actually quite bright. So we have our guide star, and we're going to now go in and live stack this and get rid of the previous one. And once it comes in, we'll actually go ahead and do some processing here. And there it is. Look at that. Actually, maybe we can just leave it for a bit, not even process it. Let's zoom in a little. Let's go to 75%. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty. You can see that beautiful dark lane going around it. Goes all the way around the galaxy. This is a fairly regular shaped galaxy. It's the Sombrero Galaxy. And I think you can see why it's called the Sombrero. It's 29 million light years away. And it's just a beautiful galaxy. No doubt about it.
I think the Sombrero is one, they found 2 huge radial lobes sticking out above and below it. they found something similar with the Milky Way too.
Yeah.
But I want to say they have with the Sombrero also.
Interesting. It very could be. And don't forget, guys, radio waves are also light. It's all part of the EM spectrum, EM standing for electromagnetic, And the main carrier of the electromagnetic force is the photon. We have these four fundamental forces in quantum mechanics. You have the weak force, you have the strong force, you have the electromagnetic force, and you have gravity. And the weak force is carried by these things called W and Z bosons. The strong force is a force that actually holds protons together in the nucleus. It's the strongest force there is, because if you actually took like a helium atom and you had these two protons in a helium atom, they're both positively charged. They push apart from each other with a force equivalent to about 20 pounds of force. Okay? A tiny little proton. But the force holding them together is the strong force. And that force is, you can think of it as it's a contact force. When they're touching each other, it's like they have Velcro and they're held together. But they tear them apart and then they can just go. But if they're in contact with each other, the Velcro that is the strong force holds them together. And that's how atomic nuclei work. And then you have gravity. And gravity, gravity is something that's actually not as well understood as we'd like it to be. I mean, we can utilize it, we can calculate it, but we don't understand it. Is it a quantum field? Is it not a quantum field? If it depends on your perspective. It depends on the actual physics too. And the weak force that we talked
about that. I did a quick look for radial lobes Sombrero Galaxy and nothing came up. It does have a supermassive black hole in the center, though.
Yes. We're talking about the weak force. The weak force, as I said, carried by these W and Z boson things. Those are just atomic particles. But what they're responsible for is, without that weak force, we wouldn't get beta decay, beta plus or beta minus, and what that means is we wouldn't get things like, in a star, we wouldn't get things like certain atoms that have extra neutrons in them converting into protons farther into the periodic table to make them heavier and thus create more elements. So we wouldn't get more atoms more elements in a periodic table if we didn't have this weak force process going on. So it's all elemental. But you know what I say? And you can take this to the bank. Never trust an atom. They make up everything. Okay, tell the truth. How many people out there actually snickered when I said that?
I rolled my eyes. Does that count?
No.
Okay.
Sure it does. Izabela said ha ha ha. Overku was like, oh, okay, sorry. Alright, but now, okay, as you can see, we have 17 stacked here. We're going to stop this now. Alright, and then we're going to be done by 1:30, guys, just so you know. Alright, so we're going to pause, and I'm going to go up here and change this to Sombrero Galaxy.
The Sombrero is one of those objects if you look at it through a decent sized telescope, it actually looks a whole lot like the picture.
Yeah.
You see the dark lane, you see the hat shape and the whole 9 yards. And it's easy to find too. If you can find the right star Spica in Virgo,
it's right near it.
Little bit to the west of Spica.
Okay, so now we got that. We're gonna save it. And save exactly as seen. Alright. Okay.
That image I saw of the sombrero today.
Yeah.
The guy said it was a Celestron 9.25, and I forget if he said Hyperstar or Fast Star. He said the scope was working at f2.3.
Okay, so it might have been a hyperstar. I don't know what fast star is actually.
Fast Star was sort of the progenitor to Hyperstar. It was Celestron's name brand for the optical system.
Okay. Well, it might have been a fast star then, I guess.
Yeah. Then I guess the guys at Arizona took the idea and came up with Hyperstar.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this will be the just one more. So here we go. Telescope's gonna go wildly up over our heads and into another direction. I don't know what it is, but every time it just gets me every time how this is all coming together from so far away. I just don't, I'm always taken by that. This telescope is 2,500 miles away. And thanks to technology, mostly free by the way, we're running it. I mean, there was obviously some hard work, obviously, to get this stuff all working together.
Get the bugs out.
Yeah. And of course, when you're 2,500 miles away, you can't just go out and say, "Oh, let me fix this thing." You have to have a way to do that long distance, which is what we've done. This is the Whirlpool Galaxy, by the way, Messier 51. And Messier 51 is a beautiful galaxy, but it's an interacting galaxy. And so it's one of these galaxies where a lot is going on. This tail right here, this is a separate galaxy that is interacting with this bigger galaxy. And as such, you're seeing it from the top. What you're not seeing is the fact that if you turn it to the side, that spiral arms are warped. The spiral arms at the end here are warped in the direction of this galaxy here. I can't remember if it's up or down, but again, it's gravitational interaction, Bonnie, for you. There's tidal forces from the two galaxies interacting with each other that pull stars toward it. So let's okay, we got a few minutes. Let's actually do a 20-second shot, 24-second shot of this, and get rid of our hypered view and go into our live stack here. And now we'll check it out. Okay, 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Boom and pow. Let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. Look at all that detail. Wow. Rich in detail.
Yeah. What made me think of this earlier when Bonnie asked about tidal interactions and you expounded upon it. It's not just like this is two eggs in a frying pan. It's not flat. There's a three-dimensional component to this going on too, which I think you just alluded to, Mark.
Yeah. Yep. Let's zoom in on this. As we stack more, it'll be able to manage that a little deeper. But you'll notice that there's some really interesting details showing up already, even now. Good song for this galaxy. Yeah. We talked about the disk of the galaxies having young hot stars. This has that too. This galaxy being torn apart.
From the center of the main galaxy, over at about 10 o'clock, there's a blue area there, which might be a OB association or something. As we
here
noted
too
earlier tonight.
Yeah. Notice this wispy gas and dust and stars that are dragged away from the galaxy through the interaction. These have probably been orbiting each other for some period of time. This is really a beautiful galaxy. I'm going to drop this background down a little bit. I don't want to lose too much of that gas and dust out there. I want to bring my black level in just a little bit. Not much. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. Let's see. Under enhancement, I think the bilateral filter's off. Good. And unsharp mask is on. If I turn off the unsharp mask, watch the difference in what the galaxy looks like. Okay. Now watch again. As I turn it on, watch in here. Bing, you see that? It all sharpened up in there. Wow. That's just beautiful. We saved the best for last tonight, guys. This is the Whirlpool Galaxy. It's our last object for tonight. And I guess no words are necessary. We just watch. Ah, yes. A beautiful galaxy. You can't deny that these suckers get your blood going, don't they? They get your blood going. Oh, yeah. Okay, we stacked 10 of these so far. The Whirlpool Galaxy Measure 51. It is an interacting galaxy. A galaxy interacting with another one that we see up there. You can see this gas being flown off. And stars that are drifting away. The Whirlpool Galaxy is a beautiful, it's also called the question mark galaxy by some. I never called it that myself. It's 23 million light years away from us, and this is just a beautiful, beautiful galaxy. Look at the dark lanes in here. Again, it's face on. Looks gorgeous. The blue disk of stars is very obvious. And this galaxy here, literally interacting with it, has been ripped apart. I'm thinking that this spiral arm here isn't part of the Whirlpool at all. It's actually part of the spiral arms that used to be in this galaxy. I think that's what this is. And we're actually seeing a galaxy passing through another galaxy. And one of its spiral arms is being trailed off and pulled. That's what I see here. Let's go check it out. Oh, thank you, Vera. Thank you so much. Vera Lucia Campos. That's a wonderful... Thank you so much for that. Wow. See what I mean, Daryl? This could be one of these spiral arms from this galaxy that got torn apart and dragged out. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. We've talked about this before. I think I'd wondered, it looked to me almost like the smaller galaxy had passed the larger galaxy to the left, maybe even starting down at the lower left.
Maybe. But notice this here. This is something that we've also called out, guys. And now, Daryl, you and I have talked about this. Look at this point right here. There's sort of like a point right there. I think what we're looking at is the spiral arm is stretching toward this gravitational concentration in this other secondary galaxy, and it's being warped toward that galaxy.
Yeah, something actually... if you see where that blue area is between those spiral arms, they're at about 10 o'clock from the center of the big galaxy.
Right there.
It looks like the arm actually got broken right there.
It does, doesn't it?
And I would assume the galaxy passing maybe did that.
Maybe. Maybe. Let's see if we can coax a little more data out of this object.
You know, if you look really closely where the break is, and then to the left of that break area, there's that diffuse blue area.
You're talking about this area right here?
Nope, the one farther out to the left. That right there.
Okay, right there. Yeah.
Maybe that's where, when the satellite galaxy passed by, moving up and to the right perhaps, or up, that when it sort of disconnected that spiral arm, that diffuse blue area to the left is what came out from where the spiral arm was.
Maybe.
I don't know, it's all speculation on my part.
Well, I'm pretty sure that, speculation is pretty much mostly what we get,
Yeah.
when they have things like this. But look at that. We see a lot more detail in this galaxy than we've ever seen before. Wow. All right, well, that's it. 21 stacked here. We're going to pause this right now. We've got the Whirlpool Galaxy there. We're going to now save it. Didn't take long because it was only a 20-second or 24-second exposure. All right.
Well, that's a nice picture.
It is. Okay, we have our FITS file saved, and we're going to now save exactly as you see it here. All right. I searched online, and I think I might have mentioned this to you maybe too many times. There's no other live observatory online that does what we're doing. I'm just amazed at that. It's like, is it that hard to do? I mean, there's difficulty doing this, there's no doubt, but I'm really amazed that there's nobody out there that's doing this like this. There's other people that go out and just take a photo of one object and just all night long they're capturing the same object. But I wanted something that would be quick. I wanted something that would show immediate results to make everybody see, wow, this is so cool, right? And basically keep your attention, because we go from one object to the next in just maybe 5-10 minutes, and we've done like 12 to 15 objects in one night sometimes, and they come out looking like this. So we had to have a fast telescope, so we ended up spending a lot of money to get a fast telescope and the fast system out there. And then, of course, we had to have the range, so we had to have the ability for the telescope to move and look in all these directions. And you're limited by your building, which is why I want to get these lifting columns. And I have not pulled the trigger on the lifting columns yet, but when I do, I'm getting two. One for the telescope behind me, which is the East Coast one, and one for this telescope here. And this lifting column is going to lift the telescope another 17 inches taller. That's going to take it over the roof line so we can actually see down lower at objects. And that's actually beneficial in a place like Arizona where the sky is so dark. So I think that'll be very beneficial, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. Anyway, so there we go. So I want to thank you guys. This object will be up there shortly. We just saved it, so you'll see it up there. And I want to thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for the donations. That was really wonderful. And we'll see you again. And because it's galaxy season, we have an awful lot of galaxies to see. So we're going to try and stream as much as we possibly can. To the point where Daryl will just get no sleep at all. So sorry ahead of time here. And don't forget, Sunday nights 6 to 8 Eastern Time, watch and listen to SkyTour Radio on KGRA-DB. And, SkyTour Radio is a companion radio show to this. It's a 2-hour radio show on astronomy. Daryl is one of our co-hosts, along with Amanda Curran and Tara Diulis, who ask the most amazing questions. So we have a lot going on. So you guys enjoy that, and you come back. As Jed Clampett used to say, y'all come back now here, right? You remember that Beverly Hillbillies? All right.
Good night, everybody.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Beverly Hillbillies were from my neck of the woods.
Where was that?
The Western Hillbillies, the Ozark Hillbillies.
Oh, okay.
They were from down around Branson, Missouri.
Oh.
Supposedly.
Aye. Well, you heard it here first, folks. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.